what nobody has ever told you about chipping onto the green. I promise you have not heard this before. It's a myth that's so tried and true that everybody that I've asked in person, and I've asked a lot of my students, what do you think about this? I'm getting the same answer, and it's not the right answer. So there's a good chance this could be you too. Okay? The question would be, do you shift your weight while you chip? Right? Do we shift our weight? No, of course not, right? Most people would say your weight starts on your lead leg, right? And then just stays there as you go to chip. Maybe it moves forward a little bit more, but it definitely doesn't move around, right? And I've got my pressure mat out here to kind of quantify and take a look at that. The second question would be, and this is something that pretty much everybody's getting wrong too, tell me what you think, should your head stay still when you chip? So when I go to chip, is my head staying perfectly still, right? It's not moving backwards, not moving forwards. Most people, once again, would probably say your head stays still, okay? Here's a perfect example. It's my great friend Al. I've been coaching him for a lot of years. He's a golf coach himself. Listen to his responses, and they're not wrong, but they're not exactly spot on. So take a look. Let me ask you here. When you're hitting a short game shot, what do you think you should be doing with your weight at address and throughout the swing?
Well, 60% on the lead foot.
Okay.
Keep it there pretty much throughout.
Okay.
And increase it a little bit as I'm coming through.
Okay, so maybe it moves into like 80, 90 at impact?
Yeah.
Okay, so one more question. What do you think your head should do throughout the motion? Should it stay still? Should it move back away from the target, or should it move forward towards the target?
I would think that it should move more like a putting stroke. When you putt, you just swivel your head without really moving it.
Okay, so maybe kind of doesn't really move forward or backwards, it just kind of rotates.
Yeah.
Okay. So like most of you, very intelligent responses, but I'm telling you there's something underneath the hood that we've been missing, okay? So when I talk about weight shift, does your weight shift while you chip? We obviously are not doing this while we chip the golf ball, right? That would be a weight shift. But remember, this little body track pressure mat is a pressure mat. I can move my pressure without shifting my weight, or I can move it this way. And we obviously don't want that. That would not be a great chipping motion, okay? So when you first take a look at what exactly is happening with pressure, in order to get the club flowing and moving, you see what's happening here with the pressure mat in the background? And I'm telling you right now, I'm a very good chipper, and this is a very normal golf swing for me. So you notice what that pressure is doing on the backswing. Now you don't see my head go back, right, like this with the center of pressure trace, but you do see it go back in a normal chipping swing. You see kind of what's happening there? So good chippers, they're using a little bit of flow and momentum to the lower body to actually get that motion going with consistent rhythm and flow, to really be able to deliver consistent chip shots under pressure, over bunkers, off of tight lies, that I'm not seeing a lot of people here in person doing. I'm seeing a lot of this frozenness, people keeping their weight forward and then staying there, and then it's almost like this very wooden swing where our feet are poured in concrete, okay? So I filmed some great stuff on the course yesterday. I'm gonna walk you through two simple feels. The first one's gonna be about moving your pressure, and then the second one is gonna be about that other myth, about keeping your head still. Are you telling me that we're supposed to move our head? Like, we actually are. We wanna get our head moving slightly forward in the downswing. We're gonna talk a little bit about that, and I'm gonna show you some great footage of all these great chippers doing exactly these things. And once you get those sensations down, you're gonna start to unlock your short game and your chipping in a way that's gonna be so much more fun and rhythmic and kind of what I would call a flow state, right? Most people out there, when they're executing short game shots, it's very stiff, very much not a touch, a sensitivity to their swing. So let's take a look at some of the footage from yesterday. So the first thing you're gonna notice here is I go to hit this chip, I'm gonna take some practice swings and watch what my lead foot is doing. You're gonna see a little tiny step with my lead foot, okay? And that step is occurring just at or near the top of my backswing. and that's going to obviously vary depending on the length of your backswing. But just before I get to the top, you can see I'm already starting to slightly step forward. What that's doing there, as I go to step forward, all my pressure for that moment as I'm moving my left foot is all transferred back to my right foot. And we'll see that on the pressure mat. So as soon as my foot lands, now my upper body starts to lean forward a little bit ahead of the golf ball, moving my low point more forward, ensuring that I'm going to hit ball first. So what I like to do is have students actually hit some little chip shots where they're taking that baby step. You're going to see that I'm able to pinch the ball there, nice and cleanly, but also I'm able to get a good trajectory where I'm not lofting the ball up too high. So here it is again. I can really feel as I get to impact, that little bit of flow to my lead side is allowing me to lean the shaft, lean the handle forward, and catch the ball before the turf. Okay, so as I start to hit some without that step now, you're going to notice that sometimes you'll still see a little pressure movement or a little flutter in my left foot, just a little tap in my left foot as I go to take it back. That's how you know that I'm moving pressure to my trail foot, but also it's a little bit of a sign of rhythm, almost like you're tapping your foot during a song, just to give you that timing of when I move my pressure forward on the downswing. And as you watch from this view, you'll see my head will move forward. And all these great players, when they're chipping, their head is not dead still. Their head is moving this way in the follow-through, okay? That usually starts to occur. The timing can be different. Some do it very early, even as the club starts to go back. Some do it just as they start the downswing. They start to move their head forward. You'll discover what's best for you just through running through some of those little step drills, some of those sensations, but definitely we want things to be moving this way. We do not want to be staying dead still, okay? That's something that's not going to move the low point far enough forward. We've seen a lot of great studies lately where they're really seeing the angle of attack be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 degrees downward because I'm moving my upper body forward. And that's allowing the club to hit down, hit the ball first, and still not actually take a divot. Hey, it's your coach Zach Allen here, and I hope you're enjoying today's lesson. In all of my years of coaching and studying the golf swing, I've discovered there's only one thing that separates the best ball strikers in the world from the rest of us. I call it the magic move, and you can use it to generate effortless power and consistency in your game. Since I don't have the time in this short video, I've put together a 3-part web class where I show you everything you need to know, nothing held back. I call it my Magic Move Training Series, and you can get the entire thing free of charge by clicking the link in the description below. You won't find these videos anywhere else, so click the link right now and join the over 100,000 golfers who have already gone through this incredible training. And now, let's jump back into today's lesson. So the big saving part of it not hitting the ground too hard, as we go to move pressure forward, move our upper body forward, the reason why we don't actually hit the ground and take a really big divot is the head starts to just rise up slightly. That takes the club out of the ground where we're just hitting ball first with just a nice shallow low point after that. It's not continuing to go down, down, down. Okay, so watch from this face-on view. It's going to go forward, and then it's going to move slightly upward into my follow-through. You'll see a little bit of rising. And that really is some of the biggest keys to being a good chipper, is having that motion timed and down shot after shot. So I've kind of learned how to feel the pressure move, the upper body lean in, and then the upper body just rise out. That allows you to hit the ball first without taking too deep of a divot, and you get good, solid, clean chip shots time and time again, just from learning those movements. Let's take a look at some other great players doing the same thing. So this is Mr. Brett Rumford, okay? European Tour player, Australasian Tour player. I just watched a TaylorMade short game shoot with Tiger, Jason Day, and Rory McIlroy, and they all unanimously declared he's got the best short game in the world, both around the greens and out of the sand. I'm like, well, it's definitely a good person to emulate, right? So he's kind of going, I grabbed this from his Instagram post, right? Just him hitting short game shots, and it's a great way to see some of the best do their things. Watch in normal speed. Watch the flow to his lower body. You can see the pressure moving back and through, creating that beautiful flow. Watch the lead foot unweight, just like the step drill that we were doing, okay? Once he starts to slow it down, you'll see his head move forward slightly as the club transitions, and then as he gets near impact, his head moves upward, okay? These aren't motions that he's trying to do. This is just the club and his big body reacting to an athletic flowing motion. So some of those things that we discussed earlier about some of the, the things, the myths that people hold on to try to be really still and keep their head still, to keep their weight on their left side and not move it at all. You can see the best in the world, he's not really doing that. So unlock your short game, right? Start with some of the pressure shift drills. Allow your head to move a little bit more freely in the correct way and start to see those short game shots get a lot better. He's not the only one. There's plenty of videos. If you look at short game stuff of Tiger, Adam Scott, they're all doing the same thing. Little pressure shifts, little head movements at the right time, steeper angle of attacks without hitting the ground very much unless they need to. Now that's obviously their stock shot. There's many variations from there. I'm just talking mostly today about your stock standard chipping shot, which we're probably going to be using 70 to 80% of the time around the greens. I hope you enjoyed that video. I've got another short game video right over here that you might enjoy also that discusses some similar topics. Feel free to like and subscribe if you made it all the way to the end here. It really helps the channel keep going. Give me any comments or questions that you might have about the short game. I would love to answer them for you down in the comment section below.